day, freaks. I am going to turn on the comments here. I'm going to give just a couple of minutes for people to show up. Um, we are live today. I'm going to take this section. Well, I don't know. Let me mix these up a little bit. I'm using the big deck today. The energy kind of demands it. We have a pretty loaded new moon coming in, and this energy is intense. This is a black moon. Um, there's two different types of black moons. Sometimes there's two new moons that occur within a month, and that is considered a black moon. And then there's another type, and that's when there is three or more new moons within a specific season. And this is the third new moon that we are hitting in the spring season. So it's got an extra punch to it. This is a time of a lot of new beginnings. We know that as we're gearing to move toward that Aries point, when Aries takes over that north node of destiny and Libra takes over that south node. So we also know that there's going to be a lot of karma in play, and we're going to see a lot of the shadow kind of taking its final stand with this energy that we got coming in with this new moon. It's very, very, very intense energy. And if you're hearing a lot of like love and light, oh, bless new beginning energy with this new moon, that ain't it, because that's not what's going on. There are so many loaded aspects with this new moon. And can we make something positive come out of it? Absolutely. The time is demanding action. So we're going to look at all that, but I don't feel that it's beneficial to not look at the challenging aspects. If you don't understand the lay of the land, you're really going to struggle during this cycle, and it could get pretty mean and heavy. I'm just going to keep it real, okay? So we don't mess around with fairy tales over here at Broad Coven, although, I mean, we do. The real fairy tales, right? Not the Disney version, okay? Real fairy tales have harsh lessons, challenges to overcome, but there's always some kind of moral to the story. Morals or lack thereof are really at the forefront with this black moon in Taurus, okay? There's a lot going on. I had to take quite a bit of notes on this one because there's just so many aspects. I don't want to miss any of them. I got the deck that I've been using over the past couple of days. I really felt it diving into the Scorpio energy last night. And if you have not checked out that read for the eclipse season predictions for Scorpio, I do recommend that the whole collective tunes into it because we're all moving through the Scorpio South Node. So this energy is very forward for all of us, no matter our sign. And there was so much that came in, and the energy has been really kind of, I don't know, the energy has been heavy in the collective lately. And as I dove into this energy with this new black moon in Taurus, and looked at all the different aspects involved, it made complete sense why the energy is felt like it has. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to have a little astro talk. We're going to talk about these aspects. We're going to talk about the best way to work with the energy so you can pull something out of this cycle that's of benefit to you and that will support you in opening up new chapters in your life. But yeah, let's just be prepared that it's going to be a ride, okay? And so this is my deck. You can see this is a big deck, right? I can't shuffle it all at once. Obviously, I can only work with it a section at a time, but it's the combination of the occult tarot, which is pretty spicy, the angel tarot, and then I also got the arcane bullshit deck in here as well, just because I feel like we need to add a little irreverence, a little tongue in cheek, an ability to kind of laugh at some of these shadow aspects. I'm a firm believer that laughter, humor is the best banisher of all. So, you can get really complicated. You can get very involved, in casting up your protection and, all of this. And I do believe it's important to shield. I did get a specific message today about protect your head. Okay. So, crown chakra is something that we want to be aware of. Just being aware of what we're taking in, what we're taking on with this particular lunar cycle, because there's a lot of intensity floating about the collective atmosphere, and you don't want to take on energy that's not yours. So you don't need to worry about doing all kinds of protection spells or any nonsense, anything like this that you hear sort of like promoted out in YouTube land. What you need to do is just be in your own energy, um, put up good shielding, have good boundaries practically, okay, in the real world, every day to day life world. Have good boundaries, exercise good boundaries. Don't give your time and energy to people, places, situations, dynamics where it puts you in a stress space or you feel like it's just negative, it brings your vibe down. That's your responsibility, to just be aware of what you allow in your environment, who you're hanging out with, what kind of activities you're engaged in, what you take in from the media, what kind of TV shows are you watching? What are you tuning into? Because you're going to align with that frequency. Everybody is going to be a little bit more blasted open at this time. That's very natural, especially with some of this energy that we have coming in. And I'm going to talk about each individual aspect of that so we can really be prepared and just know what we're dealing with, know what we're working with, okay? But this is an important piece, as far as energetically, spiritually, as far as your protection is considered. It's really just about not taking on energy that's not yours to take on. Okay. Nobody can put a hex on you unless you allow the energy in. How do you allow the energy in? Leaky boundaries, just by not managing your own energy, not being in your own energy, engaging with this kind of low vibe energy, living in a fear space. All right. So get yourself mocked up, fill yourself with a bunch of what makes you feel good. Practice good self care, practice good, clean energetics in your own life. Lay down your boundary lines, say no where you need to, and you'll be just fine. And you might want to protect your head, okay? And I'll get into that. That has to do with some action going on with one of the fixed stars that's at the forefront. We got a couple fixed stars that are really going to influence things, and they're pretty heavy hitters, okay? Um, so I think I'm just going to take this section of the deck to work with and shuffle while I talk to you all about these different aspects that are in play with this particular new moon. All right, let's get to it. So first thing that we want to look at here is we have a lot of planetary aspects going on with this. Oh my gosh, maybe I even took too much with this. I don't know, maybe I can do it if I shuffle them like so. First thing we want to look at is that there's just so many planetary aspects with this moon. It's pretty intense. There are so many planetary aspects with this moon. The first thing we got at the forefront is this moon is sextile Mars. Okay, so this actually provides a little beneficial influence. So let's start it out with some positivity. All right, we'll sort of sandwich it. Okay, we'll open it up with some of the beneficial influences that are available, and we'll close it out with beneficial, and then we'll let the meat be the mean and heavy part of the sandwich. That's the difficult stuff we're going to have to navigate, and the challenging aspects that will challenge us on every level. All right. So first of all, with that moon sextile Mars, we are looking at a positive influence there. This gives us energy. You know, this gives us an energy infusion. Finally, we have a sense of motivation. Finally, we have a sense of inspiration. We have a target. We have some idea at this point, at least of an initial action we want to take, and we have the energy to put it in motion. So this is a really great time for going after a goal, you know, especially a personal goal. If it really is just like reflective of you and what you're wanting to create for yourself independently, even better. If you try to go for something at this time that involves collaboration or, you know, requires that another person be on the same page as you, you're gonna bump up against challenges. All right, so the more that you can direct this energy independently, the better off you're going to be. So great time to go for a goal such as transforming your health, transforming your lifestyle, transforming any aspect of your own personal reality. All right, in and of yourself, that doesn't have any bearing on what anybody else does. Okay, so if you got a business objective, that's a great way to use this. Also a great time to do any kind of like makeovers or any kind of transformations in regard to that, like you know, if you're wanting to just sort of like revamp your online presence, or you're wanting to change up your wardrobe, or maybe you want to get a completely different style, be seen in a new way, express your style creatively, and maybe do something a little bit more daring, you know, step out of the box for yourself. This is a great time to do that because you're going to have a lot more confidence. Okay, you're going to have a lot more courage. You're going to have a lot more initiative. So this is a really positive influence to have around this moon sextile Mars. You know, it gives us the positive side of working with that Mars energy. So just a lot of confidence, courage, initiative, motivation. And that's going to be very beneficial for us. Also, you know, it's not so bad if you're single either and ready to mingle, because it does open up options for dating, and it heightens sex appeal and allure. So if you want to play with this lunar energy a bit, you know, it'd be a great time to work with some glamour magic, you know, maybe get your makeup and like infuse it, consecrate it, charge it up, you know, for whatever kind of like image you want to project out on the screen of reality. That's a really beneficial way to work with this energy. It's also a wonderful time just to, you know, meet new people, and sort of, you know, flirt, have fun. Okay, so there are some positive influences here. And if you are looking to transform your health, this is a great time to take up exercise. And to be honest with you, focusing on fitness would be a wonderful outlet for some of the challenging aspects coming in. A good way to sort of like manage your energy, run your energy during this cycle. So if you're looking to like drop some weight, you know, and maybe you need to drop weight on multiple levels. Maybe, you know, you're dropping physical weight, but you're also dropping emotional weight. You're dropping baggage. You're dropping the stories you told yourself about, you know, who you are, what you need to put up with, you know, what you need to tolerate. A lot of you will feel your rebellion rise. That's going to increase. It's natural with the Pluto in Aquarius action we got going on, that's going to be with us, you know, for a couple decades. So we're in a new cycle, and a lot of us are redefining ourselves. And as we're doing that, we're bumping up against some of our shadow stuff too, things that have held us back. We're also bumping up the shadow in the collective. So, you know, this is kind of a good energy to have, this moon sextile Mars, because it gives us like, it gives us the cojones to actually take on the challenge of doing something new, doing something bold, doing something daring, and maybe being a little bit cocky about it too, within measure, okay? Within measure. Don't get too full of yourself because it could be really easy to go out of bounds with this energy. But there is a lot of great stuff on deck in regard to that if you channel the energy appropriately, which one of the best ways to use this energy is creatively, okay? Creativity at the forefront for many reasons, just with a lot of the different aspects in play. That's a great way to go about it. One of the reasons why creativity is so at the forefront is we have a minor grand trine, and we got Moon sextile Mars action going on, which is what we were just talking about there. But then with that trine, we also have Moon sextile Neptune and Moon trine Neptune. So this creates kind of a dreamy environment. It's a great time for dreaming, for visioning, for fantasizing about what your future is going to be. Let's really put it into that framework, what it is going to be, not what it could be, not what you hope it to be, but what it will be. You need a little bit of that kind of like confidence in yourself. Work with that confidence in this cycle. Like, no, I'm going to make this happen. Okay. Now's the perfect time to get fueled up with your visions. So it's going to bring in this sort of dreamy quality, that will also help us dive into our creativity, get in touch with that a little bit more. And it's a great time for working on creative projects, anything that feels artistically or deeply emotionally inspired. This is a time when romance will be front and center. There are soulmates that are coming together. We've been talking about this. Look for this really to start to pick up now and just to continue to quicken as we move up to that Aries point in July. All right. So this is very significant. And those soulmates are going to come in all forms. And with this lunar energy, it will come in through enemies, coming back around the bend. Some of you will have to tangle with a nemesis again. Okay. So this is some interesting energy in play. There's also some hidden enemy energy in play. And there's a lot that's going to be revealed on that level as well. All right. So, you know, we do have these aspects in play with the soulmates coming back around. Soulmates aren't always, such a sweet experience. Sometimes it's a fierce lesson. Some of those lessons coming in through soulmates are going to be mean and heavy. They just are. They're here to test your mettle. Sometimes your truth has to be tested. A lot of this is about us arriving at our truth, standing in that place of conviction. What do we believe in? What do we stand on at the end of the day? What is non-negotiable? And if you're really standing on that, and if it's your truth and you're invested in that, and that's your position, like a lot's going to come around to rock you and challenge your position. Okay. And it's about you really staying in that place of full alignment with your truth. Okay. There's certain things that shouldn't be compromised. Ethics shouldn't be compromised during this cycle, though the temptation for that to happen will really be there. All right. We do also have to remember that there can be that sort of dreamy, can fall into illusory. It can fall into compulsion and obsession as well with this cycle, just because of some of the challenging T-square aspects, which I'll go into in a moment. But the beneficial side of this is there is this, kind of dancing in harmony. Sounds so strange, but it really is that polarized right now. Okay, so we have this sort of dreamy, romantic, um, inspirational, moving sort of quality in play that's awakening and quickening and stirring. And then, right in tandem with that, we have some pretty heavy shadow energy in play, some pretty fierce, ruthless, cutthroat energy in play, some competitive, I'm going to win no matter what it takes kind of energy in play that's coming from the T square. So it is kind of getting all balanced out. And also with that moon sextile Neptune and trine Neptune, we also have to look at the piece that this brings the occult to the forefront in both positive ways and negative ways. What's the positive way to work with it? For self-confidence, anything working with self-confidence, anything you're doing workings around like revamping yourself, reinvention, any kind of personal glamour magic, like I was talking about earlier, anything to sort of change your image, anything to set a personal goal, health goal, that's a good way to work with the occult arts at this time. Any kind of workings you want to do, visualizations you want to do, anything working with those energies, anything working with those big moon energies. When we're looking at Neptune, Neptune is one of Pisces rulers. The other ruler of Pisces planetarily is Jupiter. And there's a real harsh aspect going on with Jupiter that we need to be mindful of, which is why I'm bringing up sort of the little cautionary piece here. Because while you are, in this sort of like fantasy realm and your dream life is really active and you're getting all kinds of downloads and everything is coming in and lighting up and these signposts are starting to show up for you on the energetic level, and you're tapping into your creativity and you're starting to see your future and what that looks like for you, and you're gaining the confidence to actually step into it. And that's the thing is, with this lunar cycle, you're going to be stepping into it, collective. It's not about like just keeping it up here anymore. So if you know that you're kind of like chewing on something consciously and you can't stop thinking about it, it just keeps rattling around in your brain, then you know that you're at a place where you really need to start moving it into action right now. We do need to take action. It is a big action oriented energy. Okay. And the energy is going to be stored and bottled up with Mars opposite Pluto. Okay. Which is an intense energy that's also in play with this particular lunar cycle. So Mars opposite Pluto, think about it. What is that energy when you got Mars, facing off with Pluto? Well, first of all, Mars and Pluto, those are both Scorpio's rulers. So we still got that stinger action out. Mars in that kind of an aspect, it can make us very impulsive. It can make us just like want to go for something in the moment because it seems enticing. It seems delicious. It seems a little dangerous. It seems a little fun, right? Maybe we know that we're kind of like being a little shady, moving in that direction. Maybe we know that it's not really the right thing to do, that we're acting out of our vices, that we're repeating negative patterns of behavior, just old stuff, that causes nothing but problems for us. But the desire is really strong. And you also have this like energy and motivation and a little bit of this like cockiness and feeling yourself, the courage kind of egging you on. But this energy can definitely leave you with egg on your face. It's when our shadow trips us up. It's a time of testing. This is the fire test of truth. Have we really learned our lessons? Have we truly been integrating our shadow? Are we doing the work? This is the first test. This is the first like real test of this coming forward with this Mars opposite Pluto. Okay. It's definitely an energy with Jupiter square Pluto. This is all part of that T square that can cause obsessiveness, compulsiveness, It makes a lot of sense now to me why in the Scorpio read there was so much coming through about like backfiring sex magic, backfiring love magic, this kind of stuff. It's because this energy does create obsessive compulsive behavior. And the thing about obsessive compulsive behavior is that in this cycle, that will really trip you up. Okay. Anywhere where you're moving into compulsion or obsession, you're going to earn yourself some real formidable enemies. I mean, it's a dicey atmosphere. It's not going to be a price you want to pay with this cycle. So there's something about taking a moment to sort of center yourself and really thinking about the way you're moving. Are you moving in alignment with your truth? Are you living by your ethics, or are you being tempted to just win at any cost, and have what you want, fulfill your desires? Very much kind of like a nine of cups in reverse sort of energy, gluttonous, greedy. Think seven vices, the seven deadly sins. This kind of energy is very much at the forefront. And there's going to be a lot of people acting out of this energy too, because there's a desire for dominance. There's a desire for dominance and a desire for control, a desire for personal achievement. And this can become very warped and distorted in this cycle due to that T square with Mars square Jupiter, just, egging us on to go for our ambitions, and at times being tactless, moving forward without consideration, not considering how that will shoot us in the foot down the road. The best thing we can do is to really focus our energy in a direct way, focus it on those personal goals. That's how we can overcome the challenging aspects of this T square, because we can extract the beneficial aspect of that Mars energy, right? The moon sextile Mars. We can tap into our drive to succeed and marry it with, a balanced sense of self esteem, and also a strong work ethic. Okay. So the best way to work at your goals at this time is to break them up into, steps, tangible steps, okay? One step at a time, and take that step and just give your whole self over to it. Really throw yourself into it and don't stop until you get that one step completed. Once you get that done, take a little break, restore yourself, get some exercise to work with blowing off this excess steam, this energy, because with all of this fiery, intense energy in play, it can create a pressurized environment. So if you're not moving this energy consistently, you can be more prone to aggression. And there are some aspects as well with the planetary alignments that can also encourage violence. So this is really about tempering, maintaining the balance. It's so, so essential at this time to maintain a balance. And the best way to do that is actually give a channel for the energy to work through. Don't get caught up in your head where it's going to lead to compulsion, where it's going to lead to obsession, or even when it comes to like romance, dating, intimacy. I mean, this can be really hot astrology for intimacy. I mean, the sex can be on and popping if you're with the right person, you're connecting in a healthy way. But it also can get really messy and full of drama if you aren't. Okay. So this is really about breaking things up into manageable portions, taking the time to restore, self-care, ground out your energy a bit before you tackle your next step. Hello, welcome. Good to see you. So this is very important at this time that we're really mindful about how we're moving forward. Okay. So take your big project, take that big dream that you vision up with the minor grand trine, and actually formulate your plan, break it up into steps. how you're going to bring this dream into being, okay? And then focus on one step at a time in sequential order. This is really working with this energy in a beneficial way where it'll keep you very, very much in this place of channeling your focus constructively that will lead to a beneficial result, because the ability to succeed big is there, but you got to work with the energy in a very disciplined, focused way. You got to channel that Mars energy and use it to really um, use the energy in a way that is productive. Okay, productive. The challenge to focus on that will be very great, because there's going to be a lot of, sort of like the devil's going to be pulling at you, the devil's going to be pulling at you. You're going to have like an angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other, and they're both going to be talking at you. You're going to find the urge to act out of your lower impulses coming forward very strongly at this time. There is a cruel intentions vibe out in the atmosphere as well. All right. You got to understand that there's a lot of people out there, and they're picking up this energy just like you, and they're tempted just like you. And not everybody is going to be focused on, maintaining some kind of ethical equilibrium. All right. There's going to be people that are going to be like, hey, man, every man for themselves. I'm going to get what I want. I don't care if I have to walk all over you to get it. All right. With that desire for dominance so strongly, the desire to win, no matter, what the fallout is for that. This is really an energy of evil desires. If I had to just sort of encapsulate the energy, it's desires, but desires that come from kind of like an evil motivation. This is the energy in play. All right. So it's also about putting yourself in check, really understanding where you're coming from in what you are desiring. What place are your desires coming from? Is it an old part inside of yourself that is just trying to look for the validation it never got? Now it's acting out in an unhealthy way. Hello, Jer. Good to see you. It's so, so, so important that we're mindful of this, okay? Where our desires are coming from, because we're all subject to this at times. We all have shadow and light, all right? And right now, I just want you all to be aware that for all of us, the shadow's at the forefront. This is when a lot of people are going to blow it. Just be prepared for it. It's going to happen. People are going to blow it. People are going to blow it. People are going to let you down. People are going to show you another side of themselves. It's going to shock. It's going to hurt. Your desire to retaliate will be really strong because of the Mars energy that's just all bottled up and pressurized. And it's like, yeah, there's this beneficial aspect with the sextile Mars, okay? But with this T square and with the fixed star energy that's going on and occult influences at the forefront, I got to tell you, this is a case where you're going to see the bad guys winning a lot right now. It's just the way it is, it's true. You need to be prepared for that. This is a time when corruption is going to kind of take the forefront. And it's sort of a challenging moment for faith. Like, do you have the faith to stay on your path and stay true to your ideals when other people are hitting below the belt? Do you got what it takes? Because that's what it's going to take. You just have to anticipate that there's going to be things that are going to happen during this lunar cycle that will be upsetting and that will push buttons. And it's all about how you work with that energy. The more you can not get distracted by what's happening on the periphery and really stay focused on your own path and what you're calling into being for yourself, and anything that's about self improvement, bringing in a personal goal, that's the best way to work with this energy. And it wouldn't hurt you. to have some time, to go it alone for a while if you need to. If you're dealing with a lot of heated situations in your life, it might be good to pull your energy back a bit and just focus all this lunar cycle on self-improvement. You do really want to work within the first 2 weeks of this lunar cycle to put those dreams in motion. That's when it's going to have the best results, okay? And then in the meantime, just make sure you're really supporting yourself, that you're staying grounded, that you're not getting distracted. Now, I did want to bring up the two, told you I took some notes here because there's so much going on. There are two fixed stars that are having a major influence. We got Algol, okay? Now, Algol is known as the most evil star in the heavens, all right? So it's like I'm saying, this is like, when if we were to look at it just as metaphorically, okay? Because I got to tell you, I don't believe in the devil. I don't. I'm. It's not part of my path. It's not part of my ideology. I am a witch, okay? And we don't believe in the devil. So that's something from Christianity. Um, but I do believe in the devil as an archetype, okay? I work with archetypal energy. That's just my perspective. I think it's all just archetypal energy, and it's one energy that we relate to through relating through symbolism. And so we create these stories about what the energy is as a way for us to better understand ourselves and our struggles and where we need to grow and what we need to work on. So to me, the devil is our lower nature. It's that aspect of ourselves that when we act out of it, we trip ourselves up. It's what we wrestle with. I have the same view about demons. I don't view them as outside entities. I believe it's what we imbue with power ourselves through obsession, through compulsion. So, can your demons kind of get riled at this time? Absolutely. This piece to be mindful of. Now, uh, this star, Algol, despite its reputation, all right, it also does emanate very like high level spiritual rays, all right? But you can't really receive those transmissions unless you're already at a place of high personal spiritual development. So if you've been working your path for a while, you've been working your path consciously, you got an active spiritual practice, and you're able to stay balanced with this energy because you know the score, you know you can feel what's coming in, but you're feeling very rooted and grounded in your spiritual practice. There is something that you can extract from this, but the wisdom that's to be extracted from Algol has a lot to do with tempering. It's really about embodying that temperance energy. So, it's fierce, right? It's fierce. It's that fire test of truth. This is the time when you can really challenge yourself to see, can you stay in that place of love, or are you tempted to fall into fear? It's all about working with this energy. Are you able to stay in that place of self mastery when you're being activated and outside circumstances are poking at you and you're feeling reactive? Are you able to like stay in your place of presence? Are you able to stay in a place of an open heart? Are you able to stay in a place of having compassion, and also staying in a place of knowing, I don't need to take that on? I don't need to take on that energy. I can continue to run my own energy. So it can up level you. And since the energy is so big and it is so intense, and we do have all these interesting aspects to Neptune in play, the opportunity to open up psychically, to get like some major awakening downloads coming in is very high too. All right. But it's all about, what are you downloading? You got to make sure that you don't download corrupt files, which is very possible with so much heavy energy running out in the atmosphere. So that's why the occult is so strong front and center. It's very important at this time that we are doing that work, that we're doing that work of really working our path. So make sure you're on your purification at this time. Keep your energy running clean. Do your spiritual baths. Do your smoke cleansing. Keep your altar spaces clean, clear. Make your offerings. Stay connected to your ancestors. Whatever it is that gives you that sense of spiritual strength, support, stay in that. Maintain that energy, honor that energy, let that be your focus, okay? And when you're encountering anything that, is pushing you to act out of your lower nature, or when you're feeling aggression rise or you feel like lashing out, get it moving, move it physically, okay? Go take that energy on a run. Go take that energy and hit some weights. Really using physical exercise is going to be the best way to burn off this energy, because the energy will be too pressurized. You're not going to be able to like ohm it out. You're not going to be able to like, pray it out. That's not going to work. You need to actually put it in motion, physically work with this energy. But you can't take that kind of heated, reactiveness and immediately go and pour it into your business projects and such, because that'll really sabotage you, right? But it is a great time to take it and move it physically. And then after you clear the energy out, clear your head from the exercise, then you can tackle, those business projects or those dreams you want to bring into fruition, or whatever creativity you want to bring forward. Great time to work with creativity to express those feelings, maybe create something very bold, very dramatic that you wouldn't have the courage to do otherwise, but you can let it come out really raw and uncensored with this cycle. Uh, Very, very much, working with that energy of rebelling in that way. Rebel through your art. Let your art be messy. Let your art be explosive. Let your art speak of those injustices, or where you want to see rectification in the world. And this is where you can most powerfully channel that energy, all right? If you use it in a higher way, and if you can stay clear. The other fixed star in play is Alcyon, which normally, is kind of like a mixed bag influence and can have a very loving vibe to it. But because of how it's aspected with this moon, it brings misfortune. It brings falls from grace, and it promotes evil. It's just, this is the energy in play. Also picking up big, like throat chakra impacted with this, third eye impacted with this. Protect your head. You want to be mindful of the crown, especially just, that you're really, again, running your own energy, that you're not taking on other people's stuff. So, do be aware of, keeping these energy centers clear, keeping the throat chakra clear, keeping the third eye, ajna, clear, keeping Sahasrara, the crown chakra, clear. You might find, like I did today, I was like, oh, okay, I need to put this on today. I need to put on my little cap. Okay. You might find that that kind of helps you just sort of like protect that crown more, wrap your head, put a scarf on, something like that. You can also do an anointing, on your crown chakra there with like some kind of oil, like frankincense would be good, myrrh would be good. You could even do a little clove oil in a carrier oil up there, is excellent. Okay, just to maintain the clarity of that energy center so you can keep your energy running clear. Likewise, you can, work with different crystals on those chakras as well. Clear quartz is great for any of the chakras centers, really. It's great for the crown. You can also work with amethyst on ajna, that third eye. I really like sodalite for throat chakra. So there's many different ways that you can work with this. I encourage like salt water gargles too, are great for just purifying the throat chakra. So these are all things that you can work with. Even doing some oil pulling with a little clove oil and coconut oil would be excellent, just for that purification of the whole, like using your voice, since we use our voice with the activation of the throat chakra. This can be very helpful, but it's definitely about looking at keeping these upper channels protected, clear, And again, as long as you're doing your shielding, as long as you're on your spiritual practices, as far as just your spiritual purification, your cleansing baths, your smoke cleansing, all of these things, you're not really going to have any trouble with that. Okay. So you do want to be mindful of this. And then, you know, another piece to look at is with this energy in play, we're going to see a lot happening globally. Some of this can even take the form of natural disasters, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, you know, things of this nature. I'm even getting in like kind of a, you know, like tsunami kind of energy. That big wave of change, like that's what I'm feeling. It's like sometimes change happens disruptively. This is something just kind of downloading right now to be aware of that, to be aware of the uses of adversity. That sometimes life uses adversity to get you moving because you've been too stuck, too stagnant. If you're going through anything that's a real bitter pill to swallow, keep this in mind, that what looks really bad now will be your saving grace down the road. It's a bit of a wicked blessing. You wouldn't have taken an action otherwise. You know, sometimes people have to fall from grace for you to really see the situation clearly. Okay. Let's dive in and just do a little collective read to lean into this energy so we all know what we're working with. When I call out the signs, it's for any significant placement: sun, moon, rising, Venus, north node. We're throwing in south node just because Scorpio south node is so forward right now. Mars, Mercury, Saturn, Pluto, or any loaded house. Okay, so that really opens things up a lot. Tune into your intuition as far as how these messages are speaking to you. Always let your intuition be the guide. Your intuition knows the way. I deliver the messages as they come in. It's up to you to flip flop rolls all that action as you need to. And we are calling in the energy for Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Ophiuchus. Ooh, Ophiuchus has got some messy stuff going on. That kind of came up. That kind of came up in Scorpio's read too. Ophiuchus came in. Ophiuchus very front and center. It makes sense with the Jupiter energy going on right now and how it's harshly aspected. Okay. Jupiter is making that intensive energy bigger, larger. That's why it's such a difficult cycle to move through. You know, it's like the desires will be really strong, but so will be like that undercurrent of malevolent energy, you know. So it's like evil desires, evil urges, you know, things that can be our downfall. um you know, we also have to look at that grudge energy that's just been so consistent. All right. Ophiuchus, you really held things up there for a moment. Ophiuchus, there's been this peace, like Sagittarius has really been wanting to be heard. I've been getting this so much in reads lately, like Sagittarius has something to say. I think Sagittarius will be coming forward in this cycle quite strongly, making their position known, taking action, where they feel like they've been thwarted or held back. They're not going to take it anymore. Temperance, Sagittarius, that is your card. We're also calling in that energy for Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Okay, so we're just seeing what is coming in this lunar cycle. Let's check it out, collective. Whew, we're gonna need some luck, man. We're gonna need some luck. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, here comes that stinger. Here comes that stinger. Someone's running away with your heart, collective. Someone's running away with your heart. Something stings. Somebody stole a heart that you thought was, you know, um, in alignment with yours. Okay, so this is something that at first was sweet, turns out to have a bite to it in the end. There's this thief energy in play. I'm picking up a little dualistic message with this. Okay, someone's stolen your heart, collective. Someone's stolen your heart, and you're just beside yourself. You feel like there's nothing you can do. You're hopeless under its sway. This might have you acting out of a little bit of a clouded judgment. You know, you might be very quick to take action or defend what you feel is yours. I mean, let's just bring this piece in. I mean, it's coming in that way in the download for a reason. There is obsessive compulsive energy at the forefront with this moon. So, you know, let's remember that people are not possessions. You don't own people. You know, people are choosing to be with you of their own accord. Okay, you can't force a fit. This came in the Scorpio. Oh, see, this just went in reverse in my hand as I was saying that. This is present. Okay, that energy is present out here. All right, there's also this piece of covetousness. You know, people coveting other people's partners. You know, wanting to come, and just as I said that, a bee flew by the window. I'm having my little Kermit the Frog moment, okay? That's the tea. Okay, there is this energy out there too. You know, there's people like, I want what I want, and I don't care if this person is in a relationship or if they're married. Like, I want what I want, and I'll do what I have to do to get it. There's is that competitive energy, and also egocentricity can be at the forefront. Okay, so I see this playing out multiple levels. I do think that there are soulmates coming into alignment. Okay, and I do think there are going to be people coming into your life that will really just like, they'll light something up in you. You know, maybe something you haven't felt for a long time. It stirs you. It like rocks you. It gets your heart like, you know, all aflame. It gets the butterflies in the stomach. It has you moving from a place of desire, and the attraction, the chemistry will be strong. You know, the draw towards the other will be very powerful at this time. And oh, it can seem so sweet, but it can also sting if you're not moving forward with clarity. So, you know, there is this piece about don't lose your head in the process of giving over your heart. And you'll know if it's in alignment because it's just like a beautiful reciprocal flow. You don't have to fight for attention. You don't have to compete for it. You don't have to force a fit. You don't have to hunt the person down. You know what I'm saying? It's like there will just be this natural magnetic pull, and it will just flow. Okay. So some of you are going to be going at it hot and heavy. You know, somebody comes in, they take you by surprise, they totally change the whole trajectory of your life path. And now you're off on a new adventure with this person. And there's just so much intensity. This is like the honeymoon phase of those connections. This is like, you know, when the sex is really good and the attraction's really high and the pheromones are flowing. So that part is very delicious. But then there's also this other piece where people are going to be so like moved and compelled by the wand, all right, that they will do anything to get it. And there is a lot of that kind of, you know, competitive vibe out there. And there are some people out here that are dealing with, you know, the stinger side. Okay. They're dealing with the stinger side of that bee medicine where they're feeling the hurt. They're feeling the hurt because they feel like, you know, somebody ran off, somebody ghosted them, took a piece of their heart with them. They don't know how to overcome this. You know, they want to believe in love. They want to move into that place again, but it's hard. It's hard because it hurts. They're still trying to heal. Some of you will be finding out that your person's been stepping out with somebody, you know, that your person's been cheating on you. This is going to spark vengeance. It will. You know, this is like that energy of hell hath no fury as a woman scorned, like big Lilith vibes. Like it can get dicey out there. Okay. So we see this thief energy is at the forefront. Um, again, there's also this piece of like cruel intentions, you know, cruel intentions. This is also the time when people can use sweetness and they can use sensuality and they can use enticement in a covert way where they're actually trying to take something from you. And I have to bring it in because it did come in the Scorpio read, and Scorpio's South Node front and center. There's also this piece that we have to be very mindful of the way that we need to be conscious of how we're connecting intimately, always, but especially now. Okay, be careful what you rush toward impulsively without really knowing what situation you're stepping into. Don't be so compelled to move forward towards something just because it's hot. You know what I'm saying? Just because it's enticing you. Just because you got the devil going. You know what I'm saying? It's very important at this time to just like make sure that you're acting out of a place that is not losing the wisdom of all that shit you just went through back there. All right. This is so important. Um, this can sabotage. This can really sabotage. And if you're connecting with people, like for example, let's say you got somebody coming back around. You've been through this, you know, cycle with this person multiple times. Each time it hasn't turned out well. It's like a broken record at this point. Your friends are sick and tired of hearing about you coming together with this person because every time it's the same old song and dance. And yet, you know, they know how to turn you on. Like there's something there that, you know, it makes you desire. It makes you desire that gratification of connecting with this person sexually, you know. You're a little dumbed down by the D, you know, it's that kind of energy. This is the time when that energy can get really corded into you, you know. STDs, sexually transmitted demons, are a thing. In fact, tomorrow I'm going to be bringing in a healing session for that, for clearing out your sexually transmitted demons. Okay, we're going to take back our sacral chakras. We're going to take back our creative space and our power and clear that energy out so we can think more clearly when it comes to really connecting with people on an intimate level. This is something you want to be aware of right now. This is forefront. We got a couple shadow influences coming in. We got Nine of Pentacles. Amdusius causes any manner of music to be played, causes trees to bend at will, brings excellent familiars. Okay, I'm really getting this, that this would be a good time too to work with any kind of, if you do want to do workings, if you know you're on that path of alchemy and you want to work with this energy a bit, this would be a great time to do any kind of workings around your business objectives. This would be a great time to do any kind of workings that are for generating abundance, generating financial flow. Also, just working with inspiring your motivation and your ambition in a healthy, centered way, you know, so you can really have the courage to go after your goals would be a great way to work with this energy. I also feel like you're stepping into this place, and it's like I was talking about, this is a great way to work with this energy. It's a great time to rebrand yourself. If you're like, I am ready to totally project a new image, like I'm feeling different, I've been through a whole like creative personal revolution within myself. I've changed so much. I don't feel like the same person anymore. My brand no longer really represents me. My business mission statement is old, it's tired. I need something new. This is a great time to revamp that. direct your energy in this way. I think a lot of people too, just in order to stay out of these complications of matters of the heart, are directing your energy in this way. You're pouring your energy into your business objectives. You got your mind on the money and the money on your mind. And this is where you're channeling your energy. You're going after your business objectives and that creativity piece coming in as well. And also looking at how can I generate finances in a way where it's actually something enjoyable for me, where I get to work with my creative energy. Some of you are actually going to be stepping into more creative lines of work, and you're going to be experimenting with this. It's daring. It takes courage. I got two hawks outside the window right now. Two hawks. You're coming into alignment. Spirit's bringing something into alignment for those of you who have been working on developing your own business projects, your own track to success. Look for things to really take off, okay? But it's all about you staying centered right now. I feel like you're right about at the point where it's going to pop off, okay? Something's going to come through for you. You're going to also be guided to specific people, that can be beneficial and can help further the direction you're heading in. But I believe you're going to be staying in independent energy. I don't see you like really getting into business partnerships. I don't recommend it at this time, especially not right now. But I do see that you're going to meet people that can sort of inspire new tracks to take with your business objectives. I also feel like you're going to be doing a lot of rebranding, revamping with your business objectives. There's things you're tweaking right now. I think, in particular, some of you are working on a really big project in relation to your finances. It's a solo project, okay? For some of you, it's creative, and I always pick it up with this particular group of people here at Broad Coven, but I feel like there's a lot of musicians in this collective. A lot of you are working on things that have to do with albums or some kind of like film work, something along these lines. A lot of you are in creative fields. There's some big project that you're working on. I really see that you're going to meet some people during this cycle that are going to open up a door of opportunity for you. You should take advantage of that. So there is this success coming here, but it does require you to learn some new things with the Page of Pentacles coming in with this Earth sign energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. It's also speaking of the education, the things that are needing to be learned in order to step into that North Node of destiny that's in play right now, which is Taurus. And this is Taurus's new moon. Now, the Nine of Pentacles is very much that pre-Empress energy, but in order to step up into the Empress, where we actually birth those beginnings that are the result of our investment, of our time, our energy, knowing our value and our worth, and bringing something also. This is the piece that's often not looked at when we look at the Empress energy and when we look at that Taurus energy. It's not just about knowing your value and worth. It's also about you offering something of value and worth. And so I feel like that's where the focus is right now in your business objectives. I also feel it's where you're focusing on your personal growth too. Knowing your value and worth, it's sort of like you understand that you also have to do better. You have to bring better to the table, because once you have that realization of who you are in and of yourself, you can't like bring some half-ass shit to the table anymore. It's like you level up on every level. So I see you all leveling up. I see you all learning new skills. I think a lot of you are, doing work around some kind of like, some of you are heading into more sort of spiritual oriented work, astrology, um, working with natural elements like herbs and stones, making like elixirs and different kinds of uh, salves and spiritual baths, like metaphysical supplies. I got like Botanica vibes. I don't know if some of you are like opening like an online Botanica. I got this coming out. But a lot of you are heading into more metaphysical directions of work, or you've been feeling pulled to go in this direction, but maybe you feel like, I'm just like a beginner. I feel inspired to go in this direction, but there's so much I need to learn. Now's the time to start down that track. Work with that energy in that constructive way. Okay. You want to take like everything that you've learned. Some of you are taking what you learned through some kind of heartbreak, and you're putting this into some kind of offering, some kind of metaphysical offering. I don't know if you're doing like creating like grief release or trauma release baths, spiritual baths, um, healing heart selves, things along these lines. This is just what's coming in. Any of you that want to work with any of those ideas that I'm bringing in, go for it. It's just what I'm getting on the download here. I'm not interested in getting into that line of work myself. So, but I'm feeling this, it's almost like metaphysical supplies that are used in a ritual capacity, working with natural elements, but it's informed by your own personal experience. And also maybe this grief that you've been moving through, this wounding to the heart. I feel like there's been a lot of wounding to the heart. Maybe this is how your heart is finding its expression, is through what you're creating now, and how this is going to lead you to personal prosperity as well, which is a really interesting piece. I feel like whatever work you're doing, it's really directly informed by what you've been through, or you went through some kind of heartache or loss. There was some kind of ending in your life. That this is how you reconnected with your heart. It's like you felt like you lost your heart back there. Maybe you went cold for a while. Now your heart is being lit up by the work you're doing. It caused you to sort of have to focus on yourself more. In doing so, there's a certain kind of magic that's stirring in you right now, an alchemical magic that's stirring in you right now, that wants to be expressed creatively, but it also wants to bless you up financially. It's like this beautiful thing where it's like transmuting the energy. It leads to so much abundance. It leads to so much success. We know this is on offer. So I do see a lot of you considering this. You're wanting to learn more. You're wanting to branch out more. And you're wanting to bring in this kind of spiritual focus, creative focus into the work you're doing. I see you taking this up. Remember to divide it up into one step at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. Even if you feel like there's a lot you have to learn, what is the first step you have to take? Line it up in steps. What do you have to do to head in this direction? Remember, start with your first step. Pour all of your time, focus, energy into that. Do not get distracted by anything else. When you got that first step done, go to the next step. Okay. Remember to take your breaks in between to take care of that heart. Okay. So we got a little like mixed bag with that. But I feel like right now, I'm also getting this message coming in with this Nine of Pentacles and this Page of Pentacles here, that you all have been very focused, right? You've been very focused on what you're building for yourselves. A lot of you have been more independently focused. You haven't really been so focused on the love. A lot of you, okay? A lot of you have been just really looking at, what do I need to do to take care of myself, to create stability for myself, to move myself into a more secure position. I feel like you're so focused on this right now as well, that you're not even anticipating this, that there's somebody coming around that's going to steal your heart. All right. So all of these elements in play. Now, coming in with this, we have death, mumia, God, the end of the universe. Endings and rebirth influences health and longevity. And right after that, the Three of Pentacles, El, God hearing lamentations, mental force, protects against sorrows and illness. Okay. And Three of Pentacles, this is about do the work. And when I'm saying do the work, yeah, it's always about those internal chores. Okay. It's always about doing our spiritual work, minding our P's and Q's, keeping our side of the street clean, making sure we're tempering our energy. Absolutely. Okay. But I also feel like this is really like keep your focus on your work. And that's a good way to channel your energy this cycle. This is what will protect you against sorrows, all right? This is what will protect you against what could be future lamentations, right? By using your mental force to focus on personal goals and objectives, you can avoid acting impulsively, rashly, or unconsciously. And, getting yourself into dramatic situations or dealing with dramatic people that can distract you and veer you off course, where soon you find yourself embroiled in the nonsense, because it's very possible to get embroiled in nonsense this lunar cycle. So channel your energy to the work. All right. Channel your energy to the work within and without, and you'll see good results. There are things ending. A lot of you are ending certain relationships, certain connections, certain friendships. You're not engaging with the ops anymore. Some of you are discovering that you've been engaging with the ops. There's hidden enemies that are being revealed to you. You're cutting some things off. You're letting some things go. You're letting the chips fall where they may. But you know that there's something new that comes out of this, okay? And I think this is about you really looking at health from a new standpoint, okay? Health isn't just how we take care of our physical bodies, although that is very much at the forefront with this particular cycle that we're moving through with this black moon. It's also about energetics. And in fact, the more that you can relate to health on an energetic level at this time, the better off you're going to be. It's all about paying attention to the quality of energy with anything you're engaged in. That includes your intimate partners, that includes your friendships, that includes your family relationships, that includes your work, okay? Your pastimes, your activities, your habits, all right? The foods you eat, the way you move your body, pay attention to the energy. Is it enlivening you? Is it filling your tank? Is it motivating you? Is it giving you confidence? Is it raising your self esteem? And is it keeping you in a place where you feel very strong in your focus, very strong in your personal truth, and you have good, healthy boundaries? Uh, go with that. All right. That's health. Move away from what is unhealthy, what drains your energy, what brings your vitality down, what lowers your motivation, what tires you out and just makes you feel dull headed, okay, uninspired, apathetic. Move away from that. Start tuning into this energy a little bit more, and you'll find it highly beneficial. 111 on the clock. 111 on the clock when I said that, okay? This is a big key to new beginnings. Um, really pay attention to this. See what that's like this cycle. Maybe you've been in your head. Maybe you've been in your head a bit with everything you've been moving through, collective, all the changes, all the upheaval. Maybe it's time to get out of the head. Maybe it's time to, nobody can steal your heart, right? Maybe it's about you sinking back into your heart. Maybe it's about you reclaiming your heart. Ooh, yes. Ooh, look at this. A giant sperm fighting a dove. Look at that. What did it come in with? The all-seeing slice. Oh, we're talking about energetics, even with food, right? Interesting. This piece coming in. This piece coming in. I'll get to this. I'll get to this. All right. This piece coming in though. Notice how the food you eat can influence your vision, as in your psychic vision, your psychic awareness, your sense of clarity. You will notice that as you're going through this sort of like expansion into psychic awareness, psychic gifts. I mean, this is coming up for the collective as a whole. Many people are experiencing this. They're starting to open up to higher states of consciousness. They're having more interest in exploring metaphysics. They're having more interest in exploring the occults. There's a reason for this. I mean, we have Pluto in Aquarius. It's the dawning of the age of Aquarius. This is what we're supposed to do, okay? We're supposed to move into this expansion of consciousness. That's what it's about, all right? It's about revolution. Revolution within, and then the revolution happens without in the world that we can see. But first, we got to be that change we want to see in the world, right? So, a lot of you are having these experiences and they can be destabilizing, all right? They can be. They can rock you. They can rock your root. That's why it's important to be very grounded. That's why it's important to keep up with your purification. That's why it's important to have good boundaries so you can stay in your energy, because then you can be a clear conduit. You can be a clear channel. So as you're having these psychic insights and your dream life is getting really active and you're getting these downloads, which are gonna pick up during this cycle, you need to be very, oh, as I say that, it's like the crown starts itching. Yeah, there's other energies that will want to tap into you. It's true. When we start to open up, when we start to move into that expansion, it can make us go to that place if we're not really managing our energy, where we can have leaky boundaries, right? So do be mindful of doing this work, but also pay attention to the way the foods you eat affect your consciousness. The food you eat can have an effect on your consciousness. They absolutely can. And some foods are tamasic. They make you slow. They make you dull. They make you foggy headed. You lack clarity. Be aware of this influence, okay? That pizza. Let's look at it in a humorous way, because I think it's important with this energy we got in play. Let's look at it a little tongue in cheek, okay? So like, yeah, that pizza, you may have, this desire for the pizza, and it may taste great, but, temper that, okay? Temper that. Have a couple slices of pizza, all right? Maybe pair it with the salad. Don't eat the whole pie, man, okay? Because what you're going to notice is, as you start to pay attention to the energetics and even relating it to something as simple as the foods you eat or the kind of exercise you do, you're going to notice that certain foods, certain exercise, certain daily habits, what you do, the way you take care of your body, you're going to notice that it has a direct impact on your clarity of vision. Okay. So if you are somebody who's already tapped into your psychic gifts, and I believe we all have psychic gifts, it's just that some people haven't activated them yet. They're latent, but they can be awakened. And that awakening is happening more and more right now. Sentience coming in. If you're somebody who's already in touch with this, do be aware that, with this influence of, it came in initially, minding the third eye, right? Being aware of the third eye, being aware of that calcification of the pineal gland. It's very much dietarily connected. You want to be clear. You want to be clear. So notice how the foods you're eating are affecting your sense of clarity. Start paying attention to this right now. It's also important when you're opening up to the clairs, if you're starting to do a lot of channeling, anything of this nature, it's so, so essential to be mindful of the way that the foods you eat can sort of dull your thinking, the way it can kind of clog the channel. You won't run the energy as clearly, all right? And it can also make it more difficult as you're moving into expansion. It can make it feel more of a almost like a toxic load physically. You can start really getting the slows, feeling really run down, feeling tired, just feeling foggy headed. All right, so pay attention to this piece. But it's interesting here because we're talking about channeling, we're talking about higher states of consciousness, and remember, we were talking about these STDs, these sexually transmitted demons, and being aware of the energy that we connect with intimately, bringing a bit more mindfulness in this regard into our sexuality, because we got a giant sperm fighting a dove here, right? So this is really talking about those like those parasitic connections, the ways that we can really have such permeable boundaries at this time that we take on other people's energy. And in doing so, it siphons our power, it siphons our creativity. We need to be very mindful of this right now. Let's see here. I want to go ahead and just get some overarching theme cards for this energy because it's pretty clear what the work is for the collective right now. Ooh, we're going to get some keys. We're going to be getting some keys, all right? Remember that piece, you know, there's going to be a lot of options, a lot of new opportunities are going to be presented this cycle. Be mindful. Be mindful of which opportunities you take. You have to be mindful of what doors you're opening right now. There will be doors presented to you. You get to decide which ones you're going to walk through. What's informing you as you step through those doors as well. The keys are all inside of you, so pay attention to your intuition. Also, pay attention anytime that you see this key archetype come up, you know, anytime you get some kind of inspirational thought, or anytime you're talking to somebody and something significant seems to be going down, if there's a mention of keys, or you see a key around you, or there's something going on with your keys, pay attention. This came in earlier on another download, but keys are a big archetypal symbol right now. So use them as like a synchronicity signpost that something important is happening that you need to pay attention to. There's some opportunity being presented in that moment. Overarching theme for the collective during this lunar cycle. Overarching theme for the collective during this lunar cycle. All right, so we are in this process of seeing the backside. Like I said, this came out in the Scorpio read, okay? We got this, the broken mirror, it's in reverse, okay? So there is a lot of occult energy out there. So people who have done workings and have been working on that lower vibrational energy, where you've been doing manipulative magic, where you've been, you know, trying to bend somebody to your will, where you've been doing things like love spells, which are just bad juju, you know, any kind of workings like that. Some of you, you know, it came up in that Scorpio read, so I'm going to bring it up, you know, sex magic, working with a partner intimately on that level before you've really just established like that level of intimacy with that person. This kind of stuff, we're seeing the boomerang of this stuff in the collective right now. This is also speaking of what's necessary to reverse sort of like crossed conditions, all right? Some of you move through life worried all the time that somebody's put something on you, that somebody's hexed you. You know, again, like I said, I relate to this energy in a different way. I believe we create our own demons. I believe the devil is our lower nature. I don't believe in some boogeyman out there to get us. I just don't. I feel that that's a way of using like the devil as a scapegoat, you know? I think that this is about really us taking accountability, owning our actions, understanding times when we haven't moved correctly, and how maybe we're seeing some negative repercussions, and there's work to be done around that. There is karmic work to be done around that, things that need to be cleared up. Where you've tried to avoid the shadow is going to be up in your face this cycle. And where you have not been willing to see other people's shadows, okay, which is your shadow. Delusion, denial, avoidance, putting on rose colored glasses, that's a form of shadow in and of itself. You're going to be seeing people's shadow nature at the forefront. We are being asked at this time to do a lot of work in cleansing, purification, okay? So, in whatever way you do that, whether you go to church and you sit and you pray and that's how you clear your energy, or whether you like to do, you know, any kind of alchemical workings, whatever helps you clear out the energy, smoke cleansing, spiritual baths, going out, spending time in nature, giving it over to the ocean, giving it over to the trees, you know, however you want to do this cleansing. This is super important right now. Very, very essential. All right. Because look, We're meant to move into this space. We're meant to move into this space. Oh, I love this. This is good. Oh, the keys is right behind it. Okay. This is about, and I love how the two hawks came in earlier. Look, the two, and there's this hawk energy here with the queen. This is about moving up into that Empress energy. It's about moving up into the Taurus North Node, right? So in order to move up into that energy, it's sort of like this is exemplifying that Scorpio South Node work, right? This is where we are right now. We're doing this deep dive into the Scorpio South Node. We're going all the way down to the bottom of it, the darkest steps. The darkest steps. If you think about diving into the deepest depths of the ocean, that's where the really weird creatures are, right? Like stuff that almost looks like it's from another planet. It is like another planet down there, the deepest depths of the ocean. Like there's all kinds of strange stuff coming at you, and I feel like that is the energy we're in right now. We're doing that deep dive. We're getting into the underbelly of it all, right? And so this is where we're really getting the mucky stuff, and we're stirring it up. We're looking at it. We're really integrating right now. It's like that last dance with the devil in the pale moonlight, all right? It's that temptation moment. And so the more that while we're in this heaviness, and it's mean and it's heavy, all right, the more that we can just work on cleansing, really the better off we're going to be. If you do want to do some kind of cleansing bath, I think it would be beneficial. It sure would be beneficial for just about everybody right now. Even if you're just going to do a simple, like 2 cups of baking soda, 2 cups of Epsom salt, cleansing bath, good old Edgar Casey remedy. Um, that can be just very beneficial, and just getting other people's energy off of you. And doing your part to maintain good energetic boundaries as well, and practical boundaries. But when we do this, when we clear this energy out, this is what we're in the process of rising up into. And we know that spirits on deck do be paying attention. There's a lot of synchronicity coming in right now. There's also people aligning with you right now that are meant to formulate an important part of this next leg of the journey for you and the new chapter you'll be stepping into. There's that Sagittarius energy coming in again. Sagittarius energy is at the forefront of this moon. We got 33. 33 came in last night on the Scorpio read, okay? So 33 is the master teacher. That is what that number is about. It's the activation of the master teacher. And some of you are having that activated through a soulmate. Your relationships are your master teacher right now. There's something you're learning here. And it's all to like move into expansion and do this transformational healing work, diving into the depths of that ocean, looking at the things that tempt us. Look at that serpent energy there, the tempter, the serpent, right? But the serpent is also the Kundalini energy. It's that activation of the creative force. So there's something that's born out of this time. And if you keep your sights set in the right way, if you keep your focus and you shoot for the moon, and if you have that independence and that daring side of the Jupiter energy, which is Sagittarius's ruler, Sagittarius front and center, also a Ophiuchus with that serpent energy there, okay? There's some action you can take that not only brings healing to your life, it brings you into alignment, with another too. Activation of that, that wolf, that pathfinder. This is when the path is going to be revealed, and it leads to coming into alignment with something that breaks up that monotony, brings happiness. And look at this beautiful infinity symbol. But notice it comes in with the Ouroboros. It's like the snake must transform. The snake eats itself. It's like there's something to digest first. And this is the process that we are moving through right now. But when we get to the other side of it, it's just such incredible beauty and opportunity. So, any final message here for the collective? Any final message here for the collective? Any final message here for the collective with this new moon energy, this black moon in Taurus energy? Oh, okay. Wants this deck to come in. Midnight. We're at the midnight hour, okay? And I did hear that song Bad Moon Rising, Creedence Clearwater Revival. That's the energy that's coming in. Do expect, trouble is on the way. There's going to be some trouble, but you can do your best to stay out of trouble by just, stay focused on what you're doing and work with the energy constructively, like we've talked about. But we are heading up to midnight. And what's that midnight? It's that Aries point when Aries takes over that north node in July, the most magical hour of all. A little bit of that magic gets stirred this cycle. The beginnings of that magic gets stirred in this cycle. Look for those clues, look for those keys about what will be coming in, the destiny that's going to be coming in for you with that Aries point, with the changing of the nodes. Overarching theme for the collective, overarching theme for the collective, overarching theme for the collective. Overarching theme for the collective. These cards are just like they never shuffle easily, right? They're very slippery. So it takes some time for one to pop out. Overarching theme for the collective with this lunar cycle. Woo! Of course, it brings so much. Oh, we got the owl here using our wisdom. Okay. It's interesting though, because I have Comanche ancestry, and in our particular belief system around the owl is seen as the deceiver, and it's like it's bad juju, right? Except for the great horned owl. The great horned owl is used for a sense of protection, like the feathers were in the past were put on the shields and on the arms, when they went into battle, when the Comanche went into battle. But this particular owl is not a great horned owl. So we know we need to be aware. We need to have our vision clear. We need to be aware that there are dark influences in play out there, that there are malevolent influences out there. We need to have the courage to peer through the shadow. This is about us activating wise seeing and wise action, channeling the energy in the correct way. Also, when you're doing any kind of magic, because owl is also the totem of magic, to make sure that you're using it for personal development. Okay. And what came in with this? Oh, it came a midnight came out again. Okay, so we know we're moving up to this point. What comes in is blind spots, skull of darkness, mummy, change, okay, graveyard, unnecessary fear, all right, and hearth, happiness in our hearts and homes. Okay, look at the protection with the gargoyle, right? It's about, really have those healthy boundaries up. You don't need to take on anything. You don't need to worry about other people, throwing stuff on you, hexing you, any of this stuff. Because I know this stuff is always so much at the forefront on YouTube. I hear it all the time. You know, um, the thing is you don't need to take it on. Okay. It's an unnecessary fear. And I feel like a lot of what the collective deals with in terms of this negative repercussions of spell work, it's more the fear of it. Okay. It's like a crossed condition. If you believe, if you believe that somebody has the power to put you under their spell and cause you harm, all right, then yeah, you can cross yourself. You can jinx yourself. You can deal with this. Likewise, if you are somebody who is directing your energy in this way, you're doing negative workings, eventually you're going to have to own your own energy. That's what the mirror effect is. It's that what is yours will always be yours. You can't take what's yours and cast it on another. Ultimately, it comes home to roost. And a lot of you are facing that. And when you've obsessively focused on something and doing some kind of malevolent spell work, some harmful spell work, some spell work trying to, cause another some kind of suffering or limitation. When you have to own that, own your shadow, that ain't an easy ride. That's a rough ride. But I want all of you to change your thinking about this. Nobody can do this to you. Nobody can do this to you. The most that can be done is if, of course, naturally, if you got, leaky boundaries and you got people that are really negative around you, if you got lower vibe people around you, or people just, directing envy or aggression or any of these, heavy emotions your way, naturally, you're more sensitive. You'll unconsciously take on energy that's not yours to hold. That's the ultimate extent of it. But as long as you're keeping your energy clear, you got good boundaries, you don't need to take on this. And if you're hanging out with people, if you're hanging out in a room where when you leave that room, people are talking about you behind your back, or where you're dealing with people that are like throwing rocks and hiding their hands, if you're dealing with this kind of energy and you feel shifty, untrustworthy around people, why are you hanging out with them? Okay? This is about you getting up. This is about you leaving that room. It's about you getting up from tables where love isn't being served. It's about reading that energy, trusting what the energy is telling you. Don't feed the fear. Don't feed unnecessary fear. Step into your empowerment. It's time for a change, okay? It's time for a change. It's time to acknowledge the blind spots within yourself. This is how you can spiritually work with this new moon energy in the most productive way. Acknowledge the blind spots within yourself where you need to change, where you need to stop looking at things in a certain way and projecting onto other people, blaming other people for your circumstances. I'm not saying that people can't be foul. They absolutely can. But you're the one who's tolerating it. You're the one who's still holding a place for that. Why? This is up to you to make that change, okay? Acknowledge those blind spots. And if you do that, look what you preserve, you know? Happiness in your heart, in your home. So don't let this stuff steal your heart. Don't let the rough stuff get you down. Don't let the negativity consume you. Channel it constructively and use it to transform your life. I have faith in you, collective. You can do it. You can rise above this. Go get it.